What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Redemption is the act of being saved from sin, error, or evil. For J-Rock, that redemption is him becoming a rapper and making it out of his environment. That is redemption for him. Another more common definition for redemption is redeeming yourself. J-Rock is a TDE original. He was the guy. Without J-Rock, who knows where TDE would have wound up. But J-Rock was able to really push out first. He was the one who got the deal with Warner. And when that fizzled out, TDE started to become this huge powerhouse where everybody is successful now. Because of that, J-Rock sort of took a back seat. You saw Kendrick's popularity rise beyond belief. SZA is a huge mainstream hit. Schoolboy Q gets a lot of love. Absol is real underground, but still, in a sense, I would say that he's bigger name than J-Rock. So this album is all about J-Rock proving to everybody listening that he's worthy of being on the same level as his label mates. He deserves that same respect, that same attention, that same buzz. The album is also a really good display of growth, and we'll get into how J-Rock has grown as an artist more into this review. So this album, Redemption, is very important for J-Rock for a number of reasons, but I think the biggest is that this is his first album under a major label. His last album was put out through TDE. His debut album was through Strange Music. This album is being backed by Interscope, and because of that, you can hear it in the music that they're aiming for a little bit more of a mainstream sound. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in a way that I think J-Rock is slowly but surely able to find a way to blend that mainstream sound, something that sounds friendly for the radio, something that gets stuck in your head, with his signature sound, his style, his flow, his lyrics. This is not J-Rock trying to go pop and forgetting who he is. No, this is J-Rock trying to bring that type of sound into his world. I feel like Win is the perfect example of that. Yes, it's still a J-Rock song, but it is very mainstream. The hook is what really takes it to that next level. I love a positive, motivating hook. And this one, there's a reason why they threw it out before the album came out. Because it is a hit. And with Interscope backing it, I could see this one blowing up over the summer. So while J-Rock does strike gold with Win, other attempts on redemption tend to fall a little bit flat. Tap Out is a record that is real awkward outside of Jeremiah's hook. I don't think it's the right record for him. I think that it goes back to my notion, my idea that certain rappers I don't go to hear about sex or even women in the way that Rock raps about on Tap Out. I don't really need to hear that from J-Rock. I don't think I've ever really wanted to experience that from J-Rock. You know, you get attached to an artist and you're like, okay, I know what to expect from this artist. And then when they drop records like that, it's never been one of my favorites. It's never been something that I enjoy from certain artists. Another record on here titled Knock It Off comes off just very generic. Simply because of the hook. Top off, drop off, where the cash at? I feel like that might be the most generic thing J-Rock has ever come up with as an artist. Not to say that this record couldn't work, but it's a very disappointing song in context of everything else that this album has to offer. To me, the best songs on Redemption are the ones that show J-Rock's strengths as well as his growth. Wow Freestyle finds Rock and Kendrick Lamar paired up again and just having fun. This is not them trying to be the best rappers alive right now. This is just them having a fun record. They're going back and forth halfway through the record. It's something that is just really fun. And I like it because, A, it shows off the chemistry of them. And it continues this streak that they have where every song they've done together, at least in recent memory, if I really wanted to dive deep, I'm sure I could find one that I'm not too fond of. But in recent memory, I feel like all of the Rock and Lamar collaborations have been nothing but stellar. And I also like that like Kendrick's presence is on the album. He's on the title track that has SZA on it. He's doing ad-libs on Win. That is something that any OG TDE fan knows about. J-Rock's Follow Me Home was all sprinkled with different TDE members just popping up, whether it was an ad-lib, it was an uncredited verse. If you were listening to that album for the first time, you would definitely be in for some surprises. And I like that that is something that still carries over with TDE's entire successful business model. Another record that I'm really warming up to is ES Tales. I think it's a crazy joint. It's one that I feel like I'm going to appreciate even more as I listen to it. But at this current moment in time, what really stands out about that record is the Super Mario coin sample that is in the background throughout the beat. If you've ever played Super Mario and you've ever gotten a coin, you know what that sound is, and it's very distinct. It made me wonder, like, how much does it cost to clear a Super Mario sample? I'm really wondering that. Like, I really want to get, like, a number. OSOM, Out of Sight, Out of Mind, featuring Sir and J. Cole is a pretty crazy track as well. I'm seeing people on Twitter really praise J. Cole's verse. Some people even say that Cole bodied Rock on this. And I think that right there is very debatable. There's something about Cole's verse that is knocked against him, because he does have these two lines that are just... I don't understand how a rapper as good as Cole allows himself to have a couple bad lines like this. He said, "In the house, I got to find an outlet. Waiting on a plug just like a fucking outlet." So he rhymed outlet with outlet. And it really wasn't even like creative. Waiting on a plug just like a fucking outlet. In the house, I gotta find an outlet. The reason why I think that J-Rock's verses are just as good, if not better, is because J-Rock is real focused on the concept of running out of time in reflection. That's what this record is all about. The third verse in particular, one of the best well-constructed verses on Redemption. This verse does a good job of outlining the trials and tribulations of J-Rock. Like in the first verse, there's a little bit of success, but by the third verse, it's more like J-Rock really in like a, I don't know if I would say sad or depressed, but it kind of has like that vibe to it. It's definitely not a positive verse by any means. It's more reflective, it's more deep, it's personal. It's everything that I enjoy out of J-Rock as a rapper. There's a big similarity between Redemption and Kendrick Lamar's Damn. Both of these albums did a good job of entering that mainstream sound while proving that these two can create it better than a lot of artists that are doing it. For example, you have a record called Rotation 112. This is a Future sounding joint, but it has these scorching hot verses that Future could never write. And that's no disrespect intended. Future does well for his lane. He does great at what he does. But he's not the lyricist that J-Rock is when it's all said and done. And so that's like one example of how, you're taking something that sounds, mainstream. This is what's hot right now. And then adding your own spin on it. I think that is what those two albums did throughout them. The title track featuring SZA is another good example. SZA's My Loyalty is Sensitive, So Please Don't Cross Me hook really sounds like something that you would have heard on Damn. So you can definitely hear like how the albums are similar, and then how Damn could have influenced Redemption. I think you can listen to J Rock's Redemption and hear that Kendrick was a big part of this album. I would like to think that, you know, he was in there coaching J Rock, helping him, you know, build on what he's been doing. Because this album is not a huge departure from his last one, but it's one that builds on it. I also like the record Redemption, the title track, because it's another example of J Rock getting personal. He's reflecting on his motorcycle accident as well as a couple other personal topics in his life. And whenever he does that, he really sounds focused. He really taps into how he was feeling, what was going on in his head. I feel like J Rock is still discovering his sound, which might be weird to say considering this is his third album. However, Redemption is not Follow Me Home. This is J Rock showing himself as an artist, improving over the years, changing it up, showing that he could blend different elements of what makes him great with new sounds, you know, stuff that has like a more mainstream appeal. So when you grow as an artist, not everything is going to be comfortable. That's why they call them growing pains. I think that J Rock is on the right path, and I want to see him further develop this direction that he's been going in. I think Win is like a really good, strong single that deserves all the push in the world. I can say that I like more of the album than I hate of it. But I also, and I do this a lot, I question how much I'll continue to play this album after this review is wrapped up. I think there's certain songs that I would like to revisit. There's ones on here that are really good. But as a whole, I'm curious how I'll feel in a couple months. I'm sure I'm not going to hate the album in a couple months, but you know, when it comes down to it, what's the replay value of Redemption? So those are my thoughts on J Rock's Redemption. After you listen to this album, I want to know what you think about it in the comment section below. Talk to me. Give me your highlights. Give me the good, the bad, the ugly. And afterwards, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain. Check out some of my other content, reviews, interviews, discussions, etc. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.